Well, hello everyone. This is JD, and welcome to a ROM hack for The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Hero of Law. Which, this is supposed to be an Ace Attorney-esque game. And, if you couldn't tell, we love our Ace Attorney around here. And we love our Ocarina of Time. So, it's interesting to see them married together in this way. Oh no, my control settings were wonky. Alright, cool. But anyway, yeah, so this game, I found out about it through a friend of mine. She said, "This looks really cool." I'm like, "What is it?" And, well, she had to show me. And she showed me, like, the tile screen, and, like, just told me what it was, and I was like, I need to play this. So, this game I'll save after each scene. Do not turn off your console during scene transitions. Not a problem. It's so quiet. Do you think they forgot? Forget a royal visitation? No one can make such a blunder, princess. Well, I guess I should just go in then. It's Zelda. Uh-oh. Oh no. Malin. Don't tell me you did it. March 17, 9:37 a.m. Hyrule Grand Court. Defendant lobby number 2. Oh, 3. Okay. Alright. You think that after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to the stress. So why am I shaking? I guess it's a lot worse when it's your friend's life that's on the line. Come on. Gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. Speaking of her, though, where is she anyway? Hey, you, over there. Huh? What is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. But it will be soon, right? Would you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? I didn't get to speak much with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I could at least exchange a word with her now. Well, you weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she is currently in the prosecutor's lobby. He wanted to talk to her as well. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Not to worry. She will definitely be here before the trial. Great. That'll be a joyous 5 minutes indeed. There's something I can do but wait. Sometime later. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can he keep her? Ah, see? There she is. No need to get all worked up. Is something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No. Don't worry. Everything's fine. This is Malin. Malone. Ever since we met in Hyrule Castle Town all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. If everything's fine, why do you look so worried? Well, how did the investigation go? Did you find anything? Yes. The investigation. I found tons of, groundbreaking stuff. Particularly that my opponent's a real scumbag. Okay, we have to look at our court record. Attorney's badge. It's the light medallion. Or spirit. Uh-oh. It's fine. That is cute, though. Malone, age 27. Oh, it has her younger picture from Malone. That's cute. My longtime friend, and the defendant in this case. Talon, deceased, the victim, owner of Lon Non Ranch, and Malone's loving father. Alright. What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail what'll happen to me if I'm found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vile discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. He probably just did it so he wouldn't have as much time to talk. You believe in me, right? I didn't do it. I never... Of course I believe in you! Of course I believe in you! Although, I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. What's that you got there? Oh, this is just a pictograph of Father I carry around. I just can't believe he's gone. I wish I knew how to cheer up right now. I'm not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know, that pictograph could be really useful for the trial. Oh? How so? Well, you look so happy together. I can present it to show that you two had a great relationship. You really think so? Ah, well, here you go then. Malone's pictograph added to the court record. At least I'll be walking in there with something other than my badge. Alright, out of curiosity, can we look? Yes, we can look. Alright, so we got a picture of Malone, Talon, and Ingo. Epona back there, and Epona... Well, see, that's a regular horse, and young Epona here. This is from years ago. But wait, we shouldn't just be idly chatting. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I don't stand much chance if I don't know your version of the story. I understand. Unfortunately, there isn't really much to... The trial is starting. Defendant, attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. Alright. Everything will be fine. The prosecutor's been playing me for a fool since this began. But sooner or later, his arrogance will be his undoing. Let's head inside. My name is Link. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. I've won my fair share of cases, and lost some too. But this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Malone's life, I've got to find out who did this to Talon. Talon, he was always so kind. He didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this. Here we go. Court is now in session for the trial of Malone of Lon Non Ranch. Wouldn't it be Lon Non Ranch? Shut up! The defense is ready, Your Honor. I sincerely doubt that. What were they thinking, pitting me against some pathetic kid? Pathetic kid? What? Still your tongue. We got a history. What gives it right to? You bring shame upon the fine color of your hair, vile woman. Before long, this world shall know the horrible deeds you've committed. Let us not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? Now, the court does no place be exchanging insults. Since the prosecution seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening statement shall also be the closing one. The girl did it. It's obvious. She killed her own father in cold blood. Also, she could have the ranch to herself. Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you, you greedy little rat? Goodness gracious. Nice objection. Your Honor, you can't allow this man to verbally abuse a defendant like this. Ha! She committed murder, kid. She deserves every bit of scorn she gets. Now, I do believe a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. Bah! I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all this condemning evidence. Who is this guy? How can he speak to the judge like that? Ganondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. The stories I've heard about him must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently, he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades, all while disrespecting everyone in the court, including the judge. I've even heard some attorneys refer to him as the King of Evil. Definitely has that look at the very least, but wears full armor to court. Very well, please present your case. This feels very, very Ace Attorney. This is amazing. You don't seem to like me talking, so I'll just let the detective present the basics. Bring Impa the Sheikah Force to the stand. Well, here we go. The first battle. I know Impa. She's quite a competent detective. Which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. Ah, hey! Alright. State your name and whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change would be for the worse. Now, stop wasting time. Name and occupation. Oh, man. Very well. I'm Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking! You were the one assigned to this case, so you know all about it. What calamities befallen our fair kingdom? Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement. I suppose I can do the prosecutor's job for him this time, for the sake of an unbiased look. Please go ahead, detective. The incident happened early yesterday morning on Lon Lon Ranch, a local supplier of goods, located just south of Castletown. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. A tragic loss for our kingdom for sure. I have seen the man around Castletown a number of times, delivering goods. Quite. The owner was a rather important figure in the local community. In any case, we were alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard, who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it is operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the Crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. A scheduled annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah Force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out onto the floor. Next to him lay his daughter, Malone, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her, as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice and succinct. Keep that up, perhaps you will keep your job. Oh, I don't think a good detective has to worry about much about that, given she is the head of the department. Which reminds me, why is there the detectives herself on a case like this? Were the other detectives unavailable? That would be because I've been assigned to this case by order of King of Hyrule himself. The king himself assigned you? That doesn't happen very often, does it? You are correct, Your Honor. I am not usually involved in field work like this. This time, however, the king felt it necessary because of who was involved. Who is involved? Is the death of a ranch worker really such a concern for the king? Well, as I said, Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. I imagine the king wanted the top investigators on this job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene. Zelda did it! Order! I will have order! The royal princess Zelda witnessed the crime? Ha! And there you have it. This case rides on the princess's own words. To doubt it would be to doubt your own royalty. This is bad. I can't really object to that. Very well. If the princess is testifying today, it's better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. The reasons for arrest. It is with regret that I agree with Dragmire. All the evidence points towards this girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. Oh, do they? The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seems like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. Alright, so we got our 5 testimony statements. Your Honor, I would like to submit these pictures of evidence to the court. First, I have the autopsy report, performed by the Crown's top coroner. I'm gonna need that. Here is what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. Alright, let's take a look at that autopsy report. Let's see. Deep irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. Victim died from loss of blood no later than 8 a.m. Okay. Saw. Alright, let's see here. Suppose her weapon found in Malone's hands clean of blood. Why is it clean of blood? Who's wiping off the blade? To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch and its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch's inventory list to see whether anything was missing. The list matches the items we found in the ranch exactly, and nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. Ranch inventory. Let's see. Wrong button. Let's see. Interesting. 15th of March, Ingo did inventory. 4 rakes, 4 garden hose, 8 buckets, 2 hammers, 6 knives, 1 wood saw. Interesting. 8 saddles, 28 horseshoes, not shoe horses. 3 axes, and 2 brooms. We also have scythes, shovels, flails, trowels, post pounders, drag harrows, water hoses, wheelbarrows, horse carts, towing harnesses, and cow nose rings, but we can't see that side. That does sound quite compelling. This must have been a truly terrifying scene. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like that is extremely painful. This only helps to prove the defendant's viciousness. At this rate, they're going to paint Malone some heartless monster. There is one more thing I feel I should mention, for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, a courier showed up to take some milk shipments. Of course, business must go on. Is this really necessary to enter the evidence, though? The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel it bears monitoring. Mentioning, I can't read. Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally, who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments did get quite worked up about it, we cracked all of the boxes open and checked what was inside. In the end, it did turn out to only be milk bottles, so we let them through. Very well. Thank you for your thoroughness, Detective. Milk shipments. Let's see. Orders of milk left the ranch to walk with crime. Okay. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. Ah, great! How does that work? Huh? Could you explain what you're going to be doing? Can't hurt to go over this again. Nope, no time. Sorry, but there's no time for that. We have to get started right away. Oh, alright then. I'll just try my best to follow along. You know what you're doing. I sure hope so. This might not be easy. I just keep in mind that I can press the right button to skip through text. Okay. The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Ah! A waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying the standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Dragmire. In any case, we're ready, defense. Please begin the cross-examination. Okay. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, the reasons for arrest. Okay, go to the Dragmire. Turn the murder definitely took place at the other ranch house. 3 people in the ranch. Okay, right now I'm not seeing anything that... I don't need to press that. Let's see. 3 people on ranch. Victim, the defendant, the worker. Okay. Putting out onto the floor. Holding weapon. Okay, what's getting me is that... Okay. Hear me out. Talon. The way he died. Made with a sharp metal object. And yet the saw has no blood on it. It was just found in Malone's hands. Right? I mean, am I crazy for thinking that sounds kind of weird? Huh. It seems like a fairly large oversight. I just want to make sure of something. The state the saw is currently in is how you found the crime scene? That's correct. That's strange, considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was. Why is there no blood in the supposed murder weapon? Ha! Is that all you have? Huh? Naturally, the prosecution has an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold! This cloth was found in the defendant's other hand. As you can plainly see, it is stained with blood. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement. Then she wouldn't be holding the saw, would she? If Malone was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene? Bah! Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, it just so happened that the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she just stumbled upon the scene. Young lady, things are not looking very good for you right now. The court accepts the blade cloth into evidence. Could use that earlier. So, what's the story with this cloth? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, I noticed that part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. I'm not entirely sure when that happened, but sometimes one of the horses just gets a bit too rowdy, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Ingo about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. But then the saw slipped and I cut my hand open. Oh, goodness! Goddesses, are you okay? Well, it wasn't that bad. It did bleed quite a lot, though, so I used that cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going to the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence. Ha! A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. The Sheikah Force had to use a fairy on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconsciousness. I do have to give her some credit. She is one cunning woman. She knew that explained a sudden lack of a wound on her hand. Oh, why yes, fairies are wonderful. Just the other day I slammed my hand with a gavel, and one took the pain off immediately. Great. Glad to know they're used for such important things. But, dang it. Too bad there's no way to tell whose blood's on the cloth. I do believe this matter has been settled. I'm ready to call my next witness. Uh-oh. Is that all I can get out of her? You saved... you served your purpose, Sheikah. Begone! Fine. But you had best treat Her Highness with respect, or I'll say it to you spend the night in the dungeons. Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah. A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me. Is that so? Then perhaps we should fill the dungeon with candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. This doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble. Order! Order! I'm sure we'll treat the princess with the utmost respect. You may step down, detective.
This case has already made me weary with all the pointless jabber. The time is ripe to deal the final blow. I call Her Highness, Princess Zelda of Hyrule, to the stand.
Is something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden?
Ah, Your Highness! I believe we're all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It is quite the honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Ah! In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant. Name and occupation, now!
The prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess.
Derogatory? I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure.
Oh, man. It is alright, Detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we are all equals. On this stand, I am just another witness. I should not be getting any special treatment.
Very admirable, Your Highness. We can all rest easy, knowing that Hyrule doesn't have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed. I eagerly await the day when our next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image.
You flatter me, Prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked for my name and occupation. I am Zelda, current Princess of Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne.
Marvelous, Your Highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at London Ranch to witness the terrible accident?
It is simple, really. London Ranch is Hyrule Castletown's biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guard with the finest of horses. Every year, the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the steeds.
Wow, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guard.
Yep. We work hard every year to make sure they're in the best possible condition. Probably love to boast about it to the other ranch owners.
Knowing Talon, I'm sure he did. How unfortunate the ranch may no longer meet the crown's high standards under new management. The royal family's a backup, I trust.
We are looking for one. Naturally, those standards are quite high.
Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day the incident. Oh, it's so warm in here.
Very well. Here I go.
Scene behind the door.
Okay. I arrived at Lone Lone Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. I could sense that something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. You didn't see that. You didn't see that at all. Also, after 8 a.m.? No, later than 8. Okay. I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I'll never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence.
What? Oh my! You saw the very moment the victim was killed? There you go. Decisive testimony. And there is no need to doubt the princess's judgment. Let me try that again. As there is no need to doubt the princess's statement, I call for the judge to make a ruling right away. Hey, now, hold on! I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet! You haven't, fool, because there is no need. Did you not hear one word of what I said?
Didn't you just say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense's right.
You complete... I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination, no matter who is testifying.
I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I've only ever read about court proceedings in the royal library.
That being said, I would not tolerate any reckless accusations toward the princess. Is that clear?
Naturally, Your Honor. How am I going to cross-examine the princess? This isn't going to end well. What's gone into the prosecutor? That seemed like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess's status, it's possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean that this testimony is a surprise even to him. This could be my chance.
Before we begin, there's just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That'd be this, I presume.
Why, yes, that is exactly it.
What is that?
Oh, that's a bottle of perfume that Father intended to give to Her Highness when she arrived. He quickly rode out of town to get it at the last moment. We didn't know the princess was coming instead of the king until only about 2 hours before the visitation. Oh, how thoughtful. He really did not need to bother himself so.
As fascinating as it all is, the prosecution does believe it's relevant to the case.
It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defense requests the bottle be accepted into evidence.
Desperate to lash into every little thing, are you? Whatever. You can add to the evidence if I'll make you happy. No skin off my teeth. Goodness. In that case, the court accepts the bottle into evidence.
Perfume bottle.
Now then, defense, begin your cross-examination.
Real quick. But just before the crime found at the crime scene. Okay. The scene behind the door. Okay. So, if you were there after 8 a.m., and you said that you saw the murder happen, it could not have happened. Your Honor, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts.
How dare you question the princess? This is... You will let the defense speak, prosecutor.
I think I see why you so desperately want to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you stated that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 a.m., correct? Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly, but we were quite a bit early. I see. That makes something you mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 a.m. You couldn't have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner when you arrived, because the victim was already dead by then.
Order! Order!
Yes! You really caught her in a lie.
Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court.
I have not lied. I suppose I did not see the exact moment it happened. I guess I only thought I did. Princess, this is a matter of life and death. I definitely saw the defendant there, though, along with the body. There was no one else who could have done it. I remember all the other details correctly. The bodies on the floor, the pool of blood. You have to believe me.
Perhaps it would be best for Hines to revise their testimony.
That's not good. There's still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. I'll have to find something else, or this case will be over. What I actually saw. I am sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I did not see the actual moment of the attack, but it had to have happened shortly before I went to the ranch house. Miss Malone and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit.
I see. You only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime being committed. Very well. Hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination.
Naturally, Your Honor. Dragmar still looks pretty angry. I bet he didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If I could just find another one like that, the princess' testimony would become completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. Alright. I didn't notice anything that was, like, contradictory. So we'll have to start pressing. Sorry for embellishing. We know you didn't see it. How can you be sure about that, though? How can you be so sure of that, princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body. That's not true. Malone was holding the supposed murder weapon when you walked in.
What?
It is obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to try and hide the weapon. Yes, I might not have seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so.
Oh my! This seems like a very important detail. I think it'd be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony.
Certainly, Your Honor. Interesting. Yeah, it is interesting, because the blood was not on the saw. It couldn't have been embedded into his body. Dragmire certainly doesn't look very happy about this development, does he? Thinking about it, I might just know why. Yeah, I don't think it was. The bloody cloth shows that it wasn't. And the saw is clean, so... I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. Ugh. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has argued before that it was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged in Talon's body, and the crime scene was left intact, then it couldn't have been wiped. Well, Prosecutor Dragmire, care to explain?
Ugh! This is most perplexing. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw? Well, maybe the princess decided to pull the saw in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim?
And then wipe the blade clean?
That'd be almost like framing the defendant.
Of course I did no such thing. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact. I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out Mr. Talon as well. Not very reliable as a witness.
You idiotic girl! Do you even realize what you've done through your bumbling?
I'm sorry. I was just so excited to stay as a witness in court just this once. Whenever I tried telling my father about anything, he always seemed so disinterested. Just this once, I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. I just want to play a larger part in her capture. I am sorry for the trouble I've caused you all.
Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we'll have to strike your statements from the court record completely.
Yes, I did it. The prosecution lost their key witness. No, please wait. I have more to say. I was wrong about the crime scene, but I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards.
What you saw afterwards? Ugh, why do we care about that? It's best that you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy.
Even if you're not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found.
What?
Huh?
Evidence?
Of course. While the Sheikah force investigated inside the ranch house, I looked around the rest of the ranch on my own.
Sheikah, do you know about this?
Of course I did. You did? You did?
I'll have your head for this. Order! Order! What does it mean, this detective? Why have you withheld this from the court?
It's quite simple. The princess specifically requested to present her finding on her own.
What? And you agreed to this? The court is not some playground where children decide when evidence needs to be presented just because they have a crown.
He's been rude about it, but I can't help but agree with Dragmire on this one. Also, I don't really buy this story. There's no input would have allowed this. Believe me, I wasn't thrilled with the request either. However, after seeing the evidence in question, I didn't think it'd be at all important to the case. Thus, I let the princess have her fun.
This is highly irregular. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Prosecutor? Naturally I object to this nonsense. If the detective thinks it's relevant, then this is probably just a waste of time. All evidence points to the defendant. It's still clear she did it, even without a witness at the scene. I see. Defense?
What do we do now? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmire loses his key witness. Plus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case too. So we should agree with the prosecution? Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left.
Well, don't keep us waiting. Surely you won't throw away all the progress you made thus far.
What do I do? Well, of course we're going to request the evidence. I mean, duh. I really hope this is the right choice. The defense requests the evidence be presented.
What?
While I agree the situation is irregular, we should still examine all evidence available. It would be silly to dismiss it as irrelevant without even seeing what it is.
I do believe you have a point, defense. However, I must warn you. In order to admit this piece of evidence in the court record, the princess's statement that she found it must be admitted as testimony, along with everything else she might say.
Yes, Your Honor. I am well aware. The defense wishes to give the princess just one more chance.
Of all the idiotic, foolish... Order! Very well, then. Your Highness, please testify once more about the new piece of evidence you found during your own investigation.
Thank you. I will not let you down this time. I promise. The princess should understand the gravity situation at hand now. I just hope this new evidence is damaging to our case.
It probably will be.
As most things are. My findings. I wish to express my most heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim, who was bleeding out. I stood guard the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah force arrived. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. I followed the scent and found a burned out fire nearby, and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. And here it is, the oil bottle I found. Is something wrong? Oh no, this might actually be completely irrelevant.
Yes, well... Of course there is, foolish girl. This has nothing to do with anything. Your great finding is some random fire on a ranch? Please! What next? Are you going to declare every rake on the premises suspicious?
Well,
The prosecution will calm down. The prosecution will take a chill pill.
This is bad. Your Honor, despite the fact this evidence might not seem to add anything to the moment, the defense still asserts its right to a cross-examination. Some straws have been grasped.
Why must you insist on a charade defense?
It's pronounced charade.
Shut up! The princess merely recounted the same view of the crime scene as head detective. You haven't been able to find anything contradictory in her statements at all.
I believe there might be a new way to tie the princess's new evidence into the case.
Ridiculous! Regardless of what the prosecution thinks, the defense does have a right to a cross-examination. The court admits the oil bottle into evidence. I just really hope this isn't a complete waste of time, defense. For both your own sake and your client's.
Alright. So... yeah, okay. So we got 7 statements, and I got nothing to do with anything. Although I didn't check that bottle. Let's see. Yeah, it just has a little bit of oil left. Alright, let's just press everything until we get somewhere. Excuse you?
There's no need to press the princess on her apology. You already wasted a chance to throw out her testimony. Yes, defense. Please get to the point. Yikes.
How about this? Was there anything else in the room? Only the beautiful little crystal bottle I mentioned before. The house was rather barren. Most of our things are on the top floor, since the downstairs room is mostly used for ranch business these days. And the occasional game. Ah, of course! Dad's famous cuckoo game! In the good old days.
Is the defense done reminiscing? There'll be plenty of time to do that in the defense behind bars.
I was just trying to distract myself from the fact there's something to latch on to here. Oh, Zelda, you have nothing to add. Cool. Did anything happen during that time? No, not that I recall. The guards did occasionally protest and asked me to let them take over, but I held my stance.
While commendable in theory, staying in the same room as a dangerous killer isn't very wise. What if she woke up and lashed out at you? Sweet Hylia up above!
That thought did not occur to me.
Of course not. Foolish girl.
But the guards did stand close by. I would have been safe.
Wonderful to see how much faith our princess has in our royal guard.
Yes, of course I do. In any case... You didn't just go home? The royal visitation was supposed to last a little longer. And Father was not expecting us back at the castle until much later. I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I supposed I could at least do that in the meantime. How long did it take the Shiga to arrive at the scene? It does not take very long to make the trip from Hyrule Castletown to Lone Lone Ranch. I cannot imagine it was more than 20 minutes. That is pretty fast. Although I imagine the fact the princess was involved helped speed it up.
Slowpokes! I would be there in half that time, running backwards even!
That's true. You could get there faster if you ran backwards. That's a nice Ocarina of Time thing there.
I suppose no surprise though. Hiding horses are naturally inferior to our fine Gerudo steeds.
The Gerudo buy horses from our ranch too. You just don't bother. He's trying to rile you up. Oopsie. Meant to press this. What was the smell like? Oh, it was awful. A really terrible stench.
Surely you don't mean to say that you found the smell of horse manure suspicious.
Do not be ridiculous. The smell was not coming from the horses. A fire, huh?
Now, let me remind you, Defense, that there's any number of reasons why a fire could have been there. You still feel the cold grasp of death early in the morn.
Princess, how long would you estimate the fire had been out before you found it? Right. There was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out pretty recently. So around the time of the crime.
So someone prepared their breakfast there. I repeat, this fire is irrelevant.
I think he's realized the same thing I did. Well, who was it? Who could have lit that fire anyway?
It would have to have been the ranch worker who was putting the milk shipments together at the time. It was almost certainly him. If you really want to ask about his little barbecue, you might just get your wish soon.
Doesn't sound like it was very appetizing. But without anything concrete to pin on him, he'll just be able to brush it off. Right, and she lied to present it? Well, I was the one to find it, and since I was going to the trial anyway...
Utter ridiculousness.
Yes. Please make this the last time you do something like this, Your Highness.
Proper procedures exist for a reason.
Yes, I understand.
Defense, I believe that's enough. It doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between this fire and the crime at all.
No, I suppose not, Your Honor.
Naturally. I said this was a waste of time from the beginning. In that case, this cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume you have no more revelations to share with us?
No, I do not. I really thought the fire would be important.
Leave my sight.
Enough. Your Highness, if you'd allow me to escort you back to Hyrule Castle. Very well.
Now the princess's little game is over, we should move this along. The prosecution's stance is still the same, of course. We maintain the evidence on its own is enough to convict the defendant. I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict.
But, Your Honor, there's nothing that... nothing that definitively shows that Malone committed the crime. This is awful. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she can kill her own father.
That's an excellent point, Defense. The prosecutor is yet to elaborate on the defense motive. Patricide is not something a person commits lightly. I did briefly touch on the subject during my opening statement. But naturally, the prosecution is fully prepared to elaborate on the matter. I'd like to call in my third witness.
It has to be the ranch worker.
Before calling him in, though, the prosecution requests a brief recess to prepare.
I thought you said you were already prepared. Maybe he wants to double check this new witness won't pull anything weird like the princess did.
Very well. I do believe a break would benefit us all. The court will reconvene after a 15-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
Alright. So, let's see. I think that is going to be a pretty good stopping point for now. So, thank you all so much for watching, and, as always, I'll see you in the next one.